All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'm going to be your yoga instructor today. So, welcome to Wild Blue Yonder Media. This is the fourth class in our Root Chakra series, and today we're doing another round of Hatha yoga. So, before we get started, keep in mind your boundaries. Notice, where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat? Or perhaps just find a center posture. Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step back, grab that drink, and join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. Your legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. You can be sitting up on a prop. I'm on a block today, on a bolster, or just out on the mat. We're going to wiggle back and forth and root into our sits bones, and we'll sit up nice and tall here. Let's go ahead. Inhale, bring those shoulders forward and up. And then exhale, drop them back and down. Inhale, bring the shoulders forward and up. Exhale, bring them back and down. Find a comfortable spot for the hands, maybe on the knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. Gently closing the eyes if that feels comfortable for you, or just find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here. In the yogic tradition, there are 7 chakras, which are the organizing centers for reception, assimilation, and transmission of life energies. The root chakra is where we come to ground into the present moment. Grounding is an essential part of expanding our consciousness. It's through our roots that we cultivate nourishment, power, stability, and growth. When we feel safe, healthy, and fully present, we can start to ascend the chakra system and step deeper into awareness. I invite you to use today's practice as inquiry. What do you need to feel safe, healthy, and fully present in your life? What will ground you so you can start to expand your consciousness? So, settling in here, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhaling that breath back out. Take another deep inhale, fill your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you feel your belly expanding outward like a balloon. And then exhale as you draw the belly button in toward your spine. Inhale as you feel your torso expand, your collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhaling air in the nose, down the throat, filling the lungs. And then exhale, squeezing that air out of the lungs, up the throat, and out the nostrils. Continue to breathe here, inhaling and exhaling with intention, noticing the movement of the breath. And with each exhale, see if you can ground down a little bit more into your seat, into your practice, and into this moment here today. If the mind wanders off on a thinking adventure, it's okay. The moment you've noticed you've gone away, that's mindfulness. Celebrate the noticing, and then come back to the breath, back to the inhales and the exhales. Now, if it feels right for you, perhaps introducing a mantra that will help you stay grounded and focused with your breath here today. Inhale, I am. Exhale, grounded. Inhale, I am. Exhale, grounded. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments here today. Taking another deep inhale here as you set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why am I practicing? Take another deep inhale as you feel that intention with your heart and mind. Exhale that breath out. Set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Lovely. If you're on a prop like a block, we're going to go ahead and set that off to the side, coming right down onto the mat. Again, legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. We'll inhale as we sweep our arms up overhead, cast that gaze skyward. Exhale, twist over to the left, right hand to the left knee, left hand behind your body. Curve your head around into a seated twist. Inhale, come back into center, arms go tall. Exhale, twisting over to the right, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the body. Curve the head around into a seated twist. Inhale, back in the center, arms tall. Exhale, twisting over to the left again, curving the nose around. Inhale, back into center. Exhale over to the right. Rhythmic movement paired with our breath is extremely good for the brain. One more time each side. Inhale back into neutral. Exhale over to the left. It stimulates both sides of the brain in that bilateral stimulation. Inhale back into center. Exhale, twisting over to the right is great for processing, healing. It's just really excellent for the brain. Good. And then we'll inhale, come back into center. Exhale, drop your left hand down to the mat. Step your hand about a foot out to the left. And then exhale, lean over to the left. Reach through your right fingers, coming into that seated side bend. So we're pressing into that bottom hand, keeping our right hip bone rooted down into the mat. We're reaching through those top fingers. So those are dynamic stretches. They're going in opposite directions, right? Feeling that pull through the side body here. Good. Find a spot that's nice for the neck. We don't want to strain. And maybe looking up toward the sky adds to the posture, opens up the heart center a bit. Good. We inhale, come back into center. Both arms are tall. And then exhale, we drop that right hand down. Again, we step it about a foot out to the right. And then exhale, we lean over to the right, reach through those left fingers. Seated side bend, opposite side. So again, we reach through those fingers, right? And we press into that bottom hand, moving the hip down to the floor. So it's like we're moving in two different directions at once, feeling that lovely side body stretch here. Shoulders shrug down, and then again, finding a spot that's nice for the neck. Maybe that's looking straight ahead or up toward the sky. It really kind of opens up the heart center here. Breathing. Good. And then we inhale back into neutral, both arms tall. And then exhale, float those hands down onto the knees or the lap here, resting them down. We'll do a few seated cat cows. I'll turn to the side here so you can kind of see the movement of my spine. So we'll inhale, pull on the knees or the lat, press the chest forward, lift the gaze up toward the sky, seated cow. Exhale, hollow out the back and the belly, coming into a seated cat. Inhale, pressing the heart center forward, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhale into cat, press the knees away, feel the shoulder blades separate, look down toward the pelvis. One more round on each side. Inhale into a nice deep cow, as deep as is available to you. Exhale into a nice high cat to what's available for you. And then inhale on up into neutral. Great work. Roll over the knees or kick the feet out to the side, hands beneath shoulders. We're going to tuck the toes. And on the next exhale, lift the hips into a down dog. On the next inhale, look up between the hands, baby step those feet to the top of the mat. Come right into a halfway lift. Knees are slightly bent. Torso is parallel at the floor. Back is flat. Shoulders are shrugged down. A deep inhale here. Exhale, sink into your forward fold. On the following inhale, bend the knees, flatten the back, reverse swan dive. We sweep the arms wide and up, and then exhale into heart center. Great. So like we did in our first Hatha class in this series, we're going to come into our mountain posture. So bring those feet about hip width distance apart. This is an excellent grounding practice, and it's excellent to do out in nature. I love doing it in the grass in the summer. So grounding into the feet here, maybe rolling back and forth, right? Feeling those toes to heels, heels to toes, all four corners of your feet engaging with the mat here or the surface beneath you. Good. And we'll come back into neutral here. Well, I'll stay to the side. So back into neutral, right? The knees are slightly bent. We're not locking them out, but just a slight bend here, drawing up on the quads. We tuck the tailbone slightly, engage the core. We lengthen through the spine, tuck the chin slightly so we're long through the neck. Shoulders drop down, palms face forward, gently squeeze the shoulder blades toward one another. They don't need to touch, but you see how that opens up the heart center here. Now, you're welcome to stay right here in stillness, eyes open or closed. And we're going to take just a couple deep breaths here. As you draw that breath in, imagine breathing in through the soles of your feet, inhaling all the way up through the body, along the spine, and then out the crown of the head. Good. On the exhale, draw that air down through the body, along the spine, through the legs, and then out through the soles of the feet. Inhale, draw that breath in through the feet, along the body, all the way up and out through the crown of the head. And then exhale as you draw that breath down through the crown of the head, along the spine, and down through the legs, through the soles of the feet. A couple more breaths like that, full body breathing, and feel the breath moving up and down your body here. One more breath. Allow the breath to settle into its own rhythm for a moment. Notice sensation in the body. And notice that sense of rootedness here. Imagine if I were to come over and push you on the shoulder, you wouldn't move, for you are so rooted onto your spot, like a tall, strong mountain. Ah. So now that we're all grounded and rooted, let's go ahead and step to the top of our mats if we're not there already. And then we're going to step our left foot back, turn the back heel down so it's at about a 45-degree angle. Good. We're going to bend that front knee so it's in line with the foot, in line with the ankle. Square the hips with the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Welcome into warrior one. Tailbone is slightly tucked, so we're feeling that opening in that left hip flexor space. Couple breaths here. Good. And then inhale, arms come out to a T. Exhale, twist over to the left here. Turn your palms toward the ground. Now we're in warrior two. I'm a little bit more lifted here. You're welcome to sink into that further into warrior two. We adjust that back foot so now it's parallel with the back of the mat here. Knees in line with the ankle. Arms out, shoulders down. If this bothers the shoulders, hands can be at the heart center or on the hips. Keeping the tailbone slightly tucked, core is engaged here. Couple deep breaths. Gaze can be off to the side or over your front fingertips. Notice what's right for you. Lovely. Inhale, we straighten that front leg. Exhale, hinge at the hips, surf forward through the fingers, and then bring the hand down to the shin, a block perhaps, or the mat. And then that back arm sweeps long as we come into our triangle posture. So top palm is up, fingers are spread wide, shoulder and hip are rotating backward. Bottom hip presses forward so we get a nice stretch of the inside of that right leg, and then feel a stretch in the top part of that left hip. Bottom elbow slightly bent. We don't want to lock out our joints. And as you see, I'm demonstrating top hand can be on the hip if that's better for the shoulder. Gaze can either be down toward the floor, looking straight off to the side, or up toward the sky. Again, that's kind of opening up the neck there. Notice what feels right for you, and let's take a couple deep breaths. All right, inhale, top hand comes down toward that block, bend that front knee, go ahead and lift up, move the prop out of the way if you're using it. We're kind of back into that warrior one, and then we're gonna step to the top of the mat here. I'm gonna step back to face you for a moment. We're gonna sink right into, excuse me, our chair pose. So knees are together, toe to toe, heel to heel. We'll inhale, lift the arms that was bent as we bend at the knees. So here's what it looks like from straight on. And then here's what it looks like from the side. Good. So as we sink into our chair pose, it's literally like we're about to sink down onto a chairlift or a chair at our dinner table, right? Arms are up on either side of the ear, shoulders shrugged down. This is really working those back muscles. So if this is too much for you, hands can be at heart center or on the hips. Checking out the tailbone, tuck it slightly, find that long spine here. Feel that pull, that burn in the thighs. We're here, we're living. Those toes should be able to lift and you should be able to see them. So if you can't, slide the knees back. So if they're kind of forward like this, pull those knees back, lean back onto the heels here. Good. Core is engaged. Whoop, don't fall over. Couple more breaths. Good. Inhale, go ahead, come all the way up, sweep those arms down, and we'll go on to the opposite side here. So we're going to go ahead and step our right foot back, turn the back heel down so it's about parallel, or not parallel, but at about a 45-degree angle. Start out with a straight leg, but then we're going to bend that knee, bringing it in line with the foot and in line with the ankle. Square the hips at the top of your mat, tuck your tailbone slightly, feel the pressing forward of the right hip flexor. Arms are up, shoulders are down. Hands can also be on heart center if that's better for the shoulders or even on the hips. We're in warrior one. Let's take a couple breaths together. Great work. We inhale, bring those arms out to a T. Exhale, twist over to the right. Adjust your back foot so it's almost parallel at the back of your mat. Turn the palms down. Good. Open the hips up. Tuck the tailbone slightly. Good. Again, you can sink deeper here, just making sure knee and ankle are in line with one another. Again, gaze can remain off to the side or over your fingertips, hands, heart center, or hips, whatever works for you. Couple deep breaths here. We inhale, straighten that front leg. Go ahead and serve forward through the fingers, hinge at the hips. Front hand comes down to your shin, maybe a block or a prop that's nice and sturdy or the mat. And then inhale, that back arm sweeps up tall. Welcome into triangle on the opposite side. So again, palm is open, fingers are wide on that top hand. Top shoulder and hip are rotating backward. Bottom hip presses forward. We're feeling that deep stretch to the inside of that left leg. That top hip is now also getting a nice little stretch there right at the top of the hip. Bottom elbow slightly bent, so we're not locking out our joints. And again, this right hand can rest on the hip or it can be up in the air. Notice what's right for you. And again, gaze can be down toward the mat, looking straight off to the side, or perhaps up toward the sky. Again, opening up the neck here. Couple deep breaths. Good. Inhale, top hand comes down toward that block. If you're using a prop, go ahead, set it off to the side, bend that front knee, inhale, go ahead and come all the way up. And then we'll go ahead and step to the top of our mat. Great work here. I'm just going to switch sides. Then we'll inhale, sweep our arms tall, and then exhale, swan dive down into our forward fold. Inhale right into a halfway lift, a nice flat back. And then exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back into a down dog. Good. Nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, drop your knees, untuck the toes, sink back into a child's pose. Elongate the arms, forehead comes down to the floor. If the head does not reach the mat, you can stack forearms or fists. You can even use a prop like a block to rest underneath the forehead. And sometimes that's nice, even if your head does reach the mat. It's just a little bit different way to practice. So notice what feels right for you. There's not a wrong answer, but it's the one that supports you the most in your practice today. Notice how you're feeling in the body. Good. One more deep breath here. We inhale as we come on up onto our hands and knees, and then actually come into a seated position. We're going to pop down onto our back. So if you need a towel off, grab a drink of water, put on socks or a jacket for final relaxation. Now is your moment. We won't sit up for the rest of our practice. All right. So coming on down onto your back, make sure your space is clear of any props, dogs, cats. Come on down onto your back, tuck those knees into the chest, wrap your arms around, maybe rock from side to side, little roly-poly action if that feels good, but you do not have to. Feel free to stay in stillness if that feels better for you. So come back into stillness here. We're going to spread the knees wide, bring the arms to the inside of the knees. Hands reach for either the shins, the ankles, or the outside of the feet. And then inhale, we're going to lift those legs tall, coming into our happy baby. So feet are roughly parallel at the top of the room. Knees are roughly 90-degree angles. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just gives you a sense of where you're headed with the posture. Now, you can stay right here or you can rock from side to side if that feels good. For some people, it does. For others, it does not. This is a pretty deep hip stretch as well as a low back stretch. So being gentle with yourself, not pushing yourself further than the body is ready today. And keeping those legs nice and loose here and allowing the arms to pull the knees down toward the floor. So it's not the legs doing the work, but the arms. So you're getting that optimal stretch in through the groin, inner thighs here, and then, of course, into the hips and into that low back. Just a couple more breaths here. Good. And then inhale, bring the soles of the feet together, drop the knees down toward the mat here. Maybe just a little windshield wipe movement back and forth, just releasing those hips, glutes, and low back. And then preparing for final relaxation. So you're already in one of the postures. You're welcome to stay right here, knees in little mountains. Soles of the feet can go or come together. Knees can go wide for recline down angle. You could extend one foot or the other for fallen tree, or extend both feet for traditional final relaxation. Find a spot that feels good for your hands. I love my arms wide, armpits open. It's just a nice, very subtle heart opener. It just kind of feels like an extra little gentle stretch. You're also welcome to lay on your side or your belly, or you can return to a seated position if that feels good for you. Really noticing here what the body wants, what it needs. And as you settle in, begin to tune back into the breath. Notice how fast or slow it's moving, how deep or shallow it is. Notice the quality of each breath on your inhales and the quality of each breath on your exhales. Feel into the gentle rise and fall of your belly and the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Noticing the movement of air and allow it to help you settle into the mat here. Feel grounded in the body, in your practice, and in the present moment. Now, if the mind wanders off, again, the moment you've noticed it's gone away, that's mindfulness. Celebrate the noticing, then come back to the breath, come back to your inhales and exhales. If you'd like, you can come back to your mantra. Inhale, I am. Exhale, grounded. Inhale, I am. Exhale, grounded. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know I'm watching the time and I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go, just ground right here into the present moment. With the energy of mindfulness, we recognize and embrace our worry, our agitation, our fear, and our anger tenderly, just as we would hold and calm a crying baby who is sad, angry, or afraid. Bringing your attention back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air, and then slowly exhaling the breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Move the arms and legs, gently waking your body up. When it feels right for you, roll onto one side, pause there with an arm or a hand beneath your head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or your purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice that probably answered the question, why am I practicing yoga? Take a nice deep inhale as you make your way on up into a seated position, and we close out our practice together today. So finding a comfortable seat, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, we draw the shoulders forward and up. Exhale, we drop them back and down. Hands find a comfortable position, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. It could also be at heart center if you'd like. Closing the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth, for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you all so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Alexis, again, your yoga instructor. You're here on Wild Blue Yonder Media, and I hope you enjoyed the practice. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, share it with a friend who may like it or benefit from it, and make sure to check back for the next practices coming up. We've moved through the root chakra, and now we're heading into the sacral chakra. Thank you so much again. I hope you have a delightful rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next practice. Bye.